I believe XRP is entering a golden era in a lot of ways. And a lot of people are missing it. And to be honest, it's because they believe that, XRP somehow is inherently just built for institutions, governments, and things like this. And part of that, I think, is people use that as an excuse to explain why consumers, retail users, they're not really using the XRP ledger for any useful reasons. Well, it was never built for you and it's only built for the big guys. That's nonsense. It's just an excuse, a good sounding story why other blockchains are dominating the XRP ledger in some really important use cases. And I believe that's going to be coming to an end. XRP will contend where appropriate with other blockchains for those transactions for that value. I have on Twitter, you can check it out if you don't believe me. I don't want to splice it in here and waste the time. But Bob Way, Ripple employee number 5, he says, well, there was a pivot and Ripple was originally a consumer-focused company. They were going to build consumer-focused solutions for payments and use cases within blockchain. And if successful, they could drag along banks and institutions. There's no master plan here, people. It's not like they built XRP and said, this isn't for the commoner, this is only for the powerful banks. It was quite the opposite. Further, David Schwartz, when you hear some of his early interviews, they weren't really sure from a business perspective what they were going to do with this technology. They didn't know. There was no master plan. They wanted to make a better, more efficient Bitcoin. Let's circle back to that discussion. Did they achieve that goal or not at the end of this video? But I want to get too sidetracked. My point is, this is a blockchain that's for solving real-world problems for anyone that wants to build them. The XRP ledger is the OG DeFi blockchain. It had all of this capability before anyone else even thought of this. It was the originator of much of this functionality. Now, it was payment focused because, well, Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer payment system and they wanted to do so in a better way, a more efficient way. But they really innovated much of this that we see in the space today. They may not have known how important it would be to have a decentralized exchange and much of that cutting edge technology. But David Schwartz, Arthur Britto, and Jed McCaleb, they designed that right in the DNA, in the base of the blockchain. So the good news is, why we are playing a little bit of catch up, we're kind of ahead of the curve too at the same time. This stuff is not things we are tacking on top of the blockchain. Much of it's already there. And it needs just a little bit of extra capability. Things like AMMs, things like clawbacks for issued assets where you choose that functionality. Some stable coins. They need to add a little bit here. But for the most part, it's already there. It is ready to rock and roll. This is not a full redesign. And when these discussions are going on, people get irritated and they're like, well, if Ripple doesn't want it, it's not part of their master plan, you're messing everything up because this is going to be the reserve currency and it's backed by gold and all of this wonderful stuff, and that's nonsense. Ripple is just like anyone else. They are trying to build the future with this emerging technology. Now, they're not exactly like anyone else. They're a multi-billion-dollar company with a lot of resources and know-how and capability, and I think they're going to do wonderful things. And I still say having Ripple in the XRP ecosystem is a secret weapon that no other blockchain has. But it's not an excuse. It doesn't make it okay to fail in many other areas where there's no reason for that. We should contend anywhere we can. Now, understand this. If adding smart contracts directly to the XRP ledger robs XRP of its speed and cost effectiveness and scalability, heck no, you shouldn't do that. You have to stay true to those foundational values that make XRP what it is. But outside of that, we gotta go after value where it can be had. If XRP can do something that Ethereum is doing, you better go and compete there. You better go after that market and not let this world run you by. Now, was David, Arthur, and Jed McCaleb, were they successful at building a better Bitcoin? This isn't a world of either one or the other. What I think they did do is they built a blockchain that is better at fast, cheap, and scalable payments. Part of what makes Bitcoin so great is anyone can participate. You can run a full node on a Raspberry Pi and have the same authority as anyone else. And whatever those nodes say is law, well, that is the law of that blockchain. And that's great. But if you want to do really complex things and you want to have very fast and scalable payments, it's not an architecture that works. And so should we say, well, it's either one or the other? No, I say you have them both. Being able to be your own bank, to send payments, to receive value, to trade in and out of other assets in real time in a cost-effective way, that's a very valuable system to build. There's no reason we should not have both. I think XRP has its lane, and it's going to dominate in that lane because of those very valuable attributes that allows it to solve problems other blockchains cannot. Lean into those advantages. Leverage that. There are attributes about Ethereum that makes it more appropriate for building certain types of applications than you could on XRP Ledger. With XRP, we land somewhere between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and in my mind, that's a good place to build scalable, fast, and cheap solutions. There's a lot we can do with XRP Ledger. It's time we stop making fairy tales to excuse the shortcomings of this blockchain. Now, this is the good news. This is the conversation we see going down between developers and Ripple as they kind of figure this stuff out. This should excite you. I think we will hit a massive development phase at just the right time, running through this year and into next year. And as the next bull run should really pick up the pace, that's a great time to have new features and capabilities and people using this blockchain. That ultimately will drive value. And guess what? If people are trading on the decentralized exchange and doing transactions, that's just more liquidity for Ripple to dip into and help them make their payments in an efficient way. Liquidity begets more liquidity. Lastly, I see a lot of people angered towards Ripple. Look, my opinion, I'm not a real fan of Chris Larsen. In general, though, I believe that Ripple is going to be more of a benefit than they are a hindrance. Now, you want to have this, huge, massive company building solutions. Well, it comes with a downside, right? It comes with the fact they're going to be selling XRP on the market, and demand for the token just has to outpace that. We have to have more growth than that. Everything, again, comes with a cost. You can't have Ripple doing that stuff for free. It's their coins to sell. We understood that when we, invested into this token. That's just the reality. Understand it, accept it, and if it's not appropriate for you, there's a lot of wonderful blockchains out there, but I think Ripple's going to do a lot of good, but they're only part of the puzzle of this blockchain, and that's key to understanding. They're not our friends. Ripple is a for-profit company with a mountain of XRP. What do you think they're going to do with it? Well, they're going to sell it over the long term, but if they really want to maximize that value, they're also going to have to be good custodians and good participants in this ecosystem. I believe they're going to try. Only time will tell if they're ultimately successful, but that's what you get with this blockchain. Accept it. Ain't nothing changing it. No one's going to burn their tokens. If someone could burn Ripple's tokens, what would stop them from burning your tokens and your value if they deemed fit? If they deemed that was best for the, greater good. This isn't like some communist chain. For all the faults, understand this, XRP missed a full bull run. And when we look at it today, it's still worth more than almost every other blockchain out there. It didn't even have that massive growth, and it's still the number 6 coin in the world. If XRP is a failure, what is every other token that had a full and free, bull run and all of that growth and all of that excitement just to land up at a lower valuation? What does it make the rest of crypto if XRP is a failure? That was probably the biggest catastrophe in the history of crypto, where you have this SEC lawsuit delisted from the US market, a significant marketplace. It's not all of crypto, it's not the whole market, but that's a big one to strip away. And for XRP right now to be sitting at number 6, with the only real blockchains being Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and Solana ahead of us, for everything we went through, I think that shows a chain that's resilient, that has strength, that has a global presence that even the US government cannot stop. That's a great place to build the future, in my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.